To me, weight loss surgery is a tool. It's not just a magic fix to weight problems. What is up, Sara Squad? Welcome back to my channel, Lose Weight Sara, where I'm on a mission to lose 100 pounds my way, which since 8/19 includes a vertical sleeve gastrectomy. It's time for my weekly weigh-in, and it has been a really long, interesting week. I traveled for my job, which is located in Columbus, Ohio. So I was there all week for training, and we had a huge company-wide event that week as well. That was just amazing. Before I get to my weigh-in, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. One, I want to say a big thank you to all of the new subscribers. Thank you so much for following along with my weight loss journey. And two, I wanted to send a big thank you to my recent GoFundMe contributor. Thank you so much, Ken, for your contribution to my GoFundMe campaign. I know that you don't have to support the payments for my weight loss surgery, but I really appreciate that you care so much that you're willing to contribute. And I'm gonna throw up on the screen here the names of all of my contributors so far. I really, really appreciate you. You guys have actually helped me knock down almost an entire payment. Really, really thank you. If you would like to contribute, there is a link to the GoFundMe in my description box below. No pressure at all. I don't expect anybody to. And really, the reason that I even started the GoFundMe was because so many of you had asked a way that you could help. So thank you very much for that contribution. It means a lot. The other thing I really wanted to talk about is a big question that I see a lot in the weight loss surgery community. And that question is, should you tell people that you had weight loss surgery? So first and foremost, I think that's a really, really personal decision, and it's hard to make. And I wanted to really share with you my experience and what my plan to do was, and then what actually happened. So obviously, when I made the choice to have weight loss surgery, it was actually a really difficult decision for me to talk about it on YouTube, but a big part of my life has always been being as open and honest and transparent with my journey and the things that I choose to share online. Something that personally rubs me the wrong way is when I see people who had weight loss surgery selling weight loss products. Now, that's not to say that those products didn't necessarily work for that individual because they had weight loss surgery. I just think it's weird to not disclose that you had weight loss surgery as you're selling a weight loss product. So when I made this decision for me, a big thing for me was I'm always going to be open and transparent about the fact that I did have weight loss surgery. To me, weight loss surgery is a tool. It's not just a magic fix to weight problems, and it still takes a lot of work. But for me, I think being really honest about that is fair to the people that are consuming your content, basically. That's just my opinion. It's not based on any fact, and I'm open to hearing, your rebuttal to that if you disagree, but that's just a way that I feel kind of about that. So as I was considering whether I was going to tell the people in my life in person whether or not I had weight loss surgery, I kind of kept that in my back pocket. What do I want to hear from somebody who had weight loss surgery? Do I want them to tell me that they did? Is that how they lost the weight? Now, granted, I'm interested in the way that people lost weight because I too am trying to lose weight. So it all kind of makes sense in my head. Now, when I traveled for work, I was gonna see a lot of people who only see me through a camera lens. They only see me in Zoom meetings or in a Slack huddle or something like that. So it was really a big debate for me whether or not I was going to be comfortable telling people that I had weight loss surgery. Something that my job is very good at is feeding everybody while they're there. There's catering for breakfast, lunch, and dinner pretty much every single day. There's also company dinners that we go to. We went to a team dinner. We did a lot of things that revolved around food and alcohol. As I was flying out to Ohio, I really spent a good amount of time kind of debating Should I tell them? Should I not? Do I just go with the flow? Like, does anybody care? But here were a few factors that I used to make the decision as to whether or not I was going to tell somebody. So the first thing was that I was worried that if I overate accidentally, because I'm still learning to navigate this tool, and I got sick, were people gonna think that there was something wrong with me? The other thing was, I knew I was going to be putting such a small amount of food on my plate. Didn't want anybody to like start worrying about me that maybe I had like an eating disorder or something, which kind of lined up with my thought process around like, well, what if I get sick? What if I have to run to the bathroom because I accidentally overate? I had just one bite too much. And I did get questions from people that I don't normally speak to who would see like this tiny little bit of food on my plate and they would say like,
"Oh, Sarah, you don't have to worry about eating, like there's plenty of food, just get the food that you want."
And so when that came up, I did make the choice to share with them that I actually have a really tiny stomach. There were only a couple of times that it was like maybe a little awkward, but most of my team already knew. I had told them before I went out there. I didn't tell them right away, like right when I had the surgery, and it wasn't obvious because I had gone right back to work within just a couple of days of having my surgery. In fact, it was one day. I got home from Las Vegas and I was at work the next day. I guess that's one of the perks of working at home is nobody could really tell what was going on. The way I looked at it when I told people that I had the surgery was that this is an educational opportunity. A lot of people have kind of their preconceived notions about people who are overweight. And I had met many of these people, or they at least saw me the last time I was in Ohio, which was just in the first or second week of June of this year. So it was only a couple of months ago. I know most people are really careful to make comments about somebody's weight loss. I know I personally am. I don't do it unless I know somebody has been trying to lose weight for a fact. So I only really had one or two people mention that they said,
"Wow, Sarah, you look great. You're doing amazing. Like, what did you do?"
And I would kind of make a joke about it. I'm like, just diet, exercise. I had 80% of my stomach removed, just a few little things. And that would kind of spark curiosity. They were like,
"Wait, what? What do you mean?"
And so I looked at it as an educational opportunity to kind of explain to people, people don't really think about the decisions or the choices that people who struggle with their weight kind of think about. And there are many of us that think about weight loss surgery as an option. There's many of us who don't or are scared of it, and that's okay too. But for me, I felt really good just telling people like, yeah, have you ever heard of a vertical sleeve gastrectomy? And I would say it was about 50-50. Some people had heard about it or knew somebody else who had that procedure. And then there were other people who were like, wait, what? That's a thing? So it was a great opportunity for me to tell them about it, explain how I still have to put a lot of work in, and also that mentally, my only coping mechanism, I had to pretty much quit cold turkey. I think it was really eye-opening for some of my coworkers to hear about the struggles that I had faced. It's not something that we share all the time when we have a tendency to overeat or, a binge eating disorder. And I tried not to get too deep into that with just people that I was speaking to casually. And I did explain to them that for me, food was pretty much like how some people treat alcohol or drugs. It was the way that I numbed pain for myself. And I knew that I had to take the ability for me to do that away in order for me to be successful and really finally lose the weight. I think most of the people that I talked to were really intrigued. They were really almost excited about it, especially those who had never heard of the procedure before. I think they were really interested that, somebody might go through it. And the way that I look at it, since I made the decision to tell people, is that they just don't know. People don't really know the struggles that people who are overweight go through. When you kind of explain it, it does sound sort of extreme, but I assured them that it really is just me adapting to a new lifestyle and that it's pretty much the same as somebody who loses weight just by counting calories. You reduce your calories, increase your exercise, and focus on things like protein and consuming less processed sugar and carbs, things along those lines. So for those of you who follow me who have had weight loss surgery, I'm curious, did you keep it a secret or have you told people? if you don't mind explaining why or why not, I would love to hear your story. Again, for me, it all kind of goes back to being open and honest and transparency and just, telling my truth, telling my story. I only have one life to live, and this is the life that I am living, and it's my legacy, and I want my story to be told, especially because I struggled with my weight, and I think everybody knows somebody and has somebody that confides in them, how self-conscious they are, how their weight impacts them. I think we all know somebody like that. Overall, I think it was really good for me. It was actually really liberating. It felt good to talk about it. It felt good to not treat it as like a little secret that I had. And I'm ultimately happy that I did. So as I mentioned, work, there was just food all the time. They have snacks available all the time, coffee available all the time, all the things food related. There was just no shortage of snacks, treats, full-on meals at any given time. One thing I did find myself doing throughout the week was I was eating actual food, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is not something that I normally do at home. Normally at home, I start my day with a Profi, which is a protein coffee, and then I have, a small lunch, maybe a snack, and then a little bit of dinner. Well, I was having, scrambled eggs and cheese in a small quiche, eating it out of this crust that they put it in. And then lunch was fully catered. So I was getting a little bit of chicken, a little bit of beef, a little bit of, this, that, and the other thing, some vegetables that were there. So it wasn't that I was eating more in one sitting. It was that I was eating more throughout the day. So I really didn't know how that was going to impact my weight loss for the week. I also experienced some travel delays, and I know for those of you who have been watching a long time, you know that travel does not do my body good, especially air travel. So on Monday, when I flew to Ohio, I actually got delayed in the airport for 6.5 hours because I missed my connection because my first flight was delayed. So it was a lot of sitting around, and even though I intentionally tried to walk more and tried to keep hydrated, I still swelled really bad, especially in my lower legs. My ankles looked horrible. They were so bad. I was hoping that was going to be something that went away since I had lost a significant amount of weight already, and that was not the case, unfortunately for me. So, of course, flying on the way back, I was still already a little swollen. I was eating more frequently, additional food and calories than I was eating. So I'm not surprised that my weigh-in went the way that it went, and we're gonna get to that in a second. On the way back, I was also noticing, I just got back yesterday, which was Saturday, and I also noticed that my ankles were swollen again, and it's just from sitting on the plane. And my plan was to make sure I got up while we were flying, but the problem is, it's super windy throughout the Midwest and the center of the country. I don't know if it is on the East Coast too, but I know out here we're having some severe wind issues, and the flights were really turbulent, so we were not actually allowed to get up during the flight. So for about 3 hours total, I was just sitting in one cramped seat. Although I will say that I think this was the first time on a flight in a very, very long time where my thighs did not touch the other people that I was sitting next to, which was a really good non-scale victory I wanted to share before I get to my weigh-in. So last week, before I left for Ohio, I weighed in at 212 pounds. This week, I weighed in at 212.6 pounds. So I actually did gain a little tiny bit, not even a full pound. Am I stressing over it? Heck no. I know I'm swollen. I can still feel it. I feel it in my face. I also noticed it was really cold in Ohio, and my skin, which is why I have no makeup on today, is I don't know if it's showing up on camera or not, but you can see here, it's all dried out here along my forehead, around the side of my nose, my neck even. I don't know if it's picking up on camera or not. I can't really tell, but my skin is so dried out. And last but not least, I don't go around big groups of people and indoor events very frequently. So guess what? I have a little bit of a cold going on, which I'm so annoyed. I'm like, really? Really? I had to get a cold while I was there, but I'm not really surprised, and it's not a big deal. So a little bit of a gain this week. I gained 0.6 of a pound, 0.6 pound. I don't know how, less than a pound. So am I freaking out? No. Am I right back doing what I need to do? Yes. The other thing I wanted to share with you today, I actually started my C2 5K training. Woo woo! I went to the track. I did a warm-up lap running, no problem, and I just felt so determined. I was like, screw it. I said I was gonna wait till the beginning of the year to start this, but what the hell, I'm gonna start now. I just feel really determined to do it. It's a big goal of mine. So I've started that. I'll be able to run on the treadmill when the weather, whenever the heck the weather decides to actually cool down here in Oklahoma. Who the heck knows when that is? It could be December for all I know. So I'm very excited to get started with that. And I had a great run today. Boy, did it feel good. And even though it's like super windy, I got a little bit of like extra resistance. So I felt it really in my legs. And I'm telling you guys, it's like, I think it's like 40-mile-per-hour winds, maybe a little higher. I don't know the exact number, but it's crazy windy. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. Right behind me is a big window here. So hopefully you guys can't hear the wind in the background. Maybe you can, I don't know, but it's bonkers. So I would love to hear from you. My question for you this week is, do you tell people that you maybe aren't that close to, that you're trying to lose weight? And I don't care whether you've had surgery or not. Do you tell people about it? Like, what's your general consensus? Is it something that you keep to yourself? I want to know, so leave me a comment below so I can hear from you. I hope you guys have an amazing week coming up. I think there's a lot of change in the air with the seasons changing. It was so cool being a little further east because all the leaves are changing colors. They're kind of just starting to here. So I always call fall like the season of change, right? We kind of have an opportunity to shift our mindset. So let me know, how's it going for you? And until next time, I'll see you real soon.